Coming up on this edition of the Newsfeed, we will take a look at the Virginia Tech Young Democrats' response to Virginia Governor Ralph Northam's recent controversy. Plus, a deeper look into Virginia Tech students' contribution to emergency response systems through radio. And how a local charity is providing food to families in the New River Valley affected by the government shutdown. Those stories and more are just ahead.
Roll A, take A.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Catherine Maxwell.
And I'm Ian Gruber. In wake of recent controversies surrounding Virginia's politicians, a campus organization is supporting the removal of certain officials in the Commonwealth. The executive board of the Virginia Tech Young Democrats has called for the resignation of Governor Ralph Northam after a yearbook photo revealed the politician in blackface. The Young Democrats previously worked closely with Northam in election efforts. They now choose to not stand by his side, believing that he should be held accountable for his actions. They quickly released a statement encouraging Northam to resign. The organization believes the governor is not fit to serve the interests of minority groups, given Virginia's history.
We have to be able to hold people accountable for their actions, and there have to be consequences for people's actions, regardless of whichever political party that is.
Following the discovery of the photograph, other Virginia politicians have had negative aspects of their past exposed, such as sexual assault allegations against Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax.
While many students visibly notice the Virginia Tech Police Department's presence on school grounds, relatively few know that their headquarters is actually located in the heart of the residential side of campus. And although some may see a divide between civilians and those in uniform, they are there to do their job just like anyone else. Newsfeed reporter Max Biesecker has more in this report.
Whether you see them during your walk to class or parked on the drill field, most students know that the members of the Virginia Tech Police Department are there for their benefit. However, as a college student, sometimes one can lose sight of that fact.
I would say there's a deal of respect. We know that they're there to protect us mostly, but when it comes to certain issues, there's a bit of an adversarial relationship, especially when they're giving out like CRs or something like that to freshmen or other students at the school. It can be not the friendliest of relationships.
Located in New Residence Hall East, Officer Elvis Rosario, along with his fellow VT officers, attempt to counteract this stigmatism by providing a more comfortable setting than traditional stations.
The job of a police officer is to protect and serve, right? That's it sounds kind of corny and cheesy, but that's really what we're here for. There's no reason why any student should be afraid or concerned about interacting with a police officer unless they're engaged in some criminal activity.
Additionally, Rosario speaks as how to best conduct oneself when dealing with law enforcement officials.
When a police officer shows up on the scene, it's in response to a call, or it could be an observation that was made, all right? So we don't know what we're going into. You may know. You may be having a bad day. I don't know that, all right? So the last thing I want to hear when I get on the scene is, you're telling me to get out, or to be totally belligerent and disrespectful and antagonistic. Let me do my job.
This is Max Biesecker reporting from Blacksburg, Virginia.
In other government news, the 35-day government shutdown impacted many people, including those in Blacksburg. Micah's Backpack, a charity that partners with local schools to help with food insecurity, noticed an increase in need due to the shutdown. Micah's Backpack supports low-income students in the area by giving them weekly meals and snacks. After over a month-long shutdown, more students and families were in need of this assistance. By partnering with churches and community groups, Micah's Backpack received extra donations to help. But despite their best efforts, they were still unable to provide for every student.
So our numbers have definitely gone up this year, especially since coming back to school in January. We probably started the year closer to 300 bags, and on an average week now we pack 354 bags. So I have seen a little bit of an increase.
Volunteers deliver the bags Friday morning to schools such as Harding Avenue Elementary. In the afternoon, the bags are hand-delivered to the students in need.
Every day, your body goes through functions that you have no idea are happening. Well, a professor at Virginia Tech may have found a way to help control these functions, which could have a large impact on the scientific community. These actions are called circadian rhythms. These rhythms act as an internal 24-hour clock that runs in the background of your body. This process helps alternate your body between the sleep and wake cycle. Carla Finkelstein, an associate professor of biological studies at Virginia Tech, published a recent paper where they found an alternative way to control these rhythms. Its importance, researchers are now discovering that the ability to regulate circadian rhythms may help in cancer treatment or even prevent the disease altogether.
Simply use that as a way to monitor, for example, a patient more often, and prevention strategy and being proactive and those kind of things are usually the best way to control a disease like cancer.
Finkelstein believes the next step is to start attacking mutations found in cancer cells. Her goal before retirement is simply to see her research improve treatments and the quality of life for patients.
Just ahead on the news feed, we learn how the Virginia Tech Housing Department is preparing for the spring graduation ceremonies.
And we will see how Virginia Tech students use radio to make global connections, that story and more after this break.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the news feed. I'm Ian Gruber.
And I'm Catherine Maxwell. Virginia Tech's housing department is feeling the pressures of graduation season upon them. With over 5,000 graduates, making accommodations available for families can be a struggle. The housing department at Virginia Tech has opened a lottery system for students' families for on-campus housing during graduation. The lottery allows an opportunity for all families to stay in a campus dorm and have the ease of being close to all the action. In addition to the housing, families are paying for a dining plan over the 3-day period. Prices for the housing and dining bundle begin at $258 for a non-air-conditioned room and can range to $1,389 for a suite-style room for 6. Daryl McCollum, the assistant director of the housing department, says they're preparing for the flood of families.
So we have to provide a lottery because there's so many people that want them, and we just simply do not have enough space to house them all.
Almost all of the local hotels are charging a 3-night minimum at $350 a night. The housing department hopes to make the stress of graduation a little easier by offering this discounted deal.
There is a Virginia Tech student-run organization making global connections while contributing to the community. This group helps keep alive a skill that serves as a largely unnoticed safety net for emergency communication. Newsfeed reporter Lizzie Street joins us with more. Lizzie?
Thanks, Ian. Members founded Virginia Tech's Amateur Radio Association, often referred to as VITARA, about 100 years ago. In these past decades, the organization has worked to recruit, educate, and keep radio operators engaged, all while providing a service to the community. From VITARA's headquarters, Virginia Tech students work to acquire and advance the skills needed to operate amateur radio, commonly known as ham radio. They use transmitters and receivers to send and receive signals across the state, the country, and the planet. There are many obstacles to becoming a licensed operator, but VITARA helps its members overcome them all. They offer exam sessions for licensing, study sessions, equipment checkout, and space, which is hard to come by for students in small living quarters.
I can't set up either in a dorm or in my apartment. So having an area where you can use your use your equipment without having any restrictions is quite beneficial.
Ham radio also plays a vital role in emergency communications. When weather wipes out all major lines of communication, ham radio operators use their equipment to transmit news and keep everyone informed.
Unstructured communications turns out to be the very thing you need when everything else doesn't work.
VTARA members provide communications for events outside the reach of cell phone towers, like the annual Virginia Tech cycling event.
And it's great for us because we can get practice learning how to use this for when a real emergency situation happens, and also we get to help the community.
Ham radio is about making connections with people despite distance. Many operators got involved because it's engaging and fun, but being able to use their skills to help their communities comes as a bonus. Ham radio is a graying hobby, but VTARA plays an important role in attracting young enthusiasts. Through recruitment and services, the group ensures that this practical pastime continues to grow and serve the community. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Lizzie Street. Back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Lizzie. Although it doesn't feel like it now, but when the weather gets warmer, more students get outside and go hiking.
As newsfeed reporter Elena Jones tells us, preparation for hiking is essential in order to avoid accidents from happening.
The New River Valley is known for many famous hikes. The Cascades is a popular hike for Virginia Tech students. It is close to campus and a beginner-level hike, which brings in a lot of traffic. The amount of student incidents that occur while hiking has been increasing. Students have not been taking precautions such as wearing proper hiking shoes, checking the weather, or the information board. This is how problems occur, such as rolling ankles or dehydration due to not enough water.
I feel like I see a lot of students, especially now in the colder weather, out on hiking trails, not with appropriate shoe attire or warm enough clothes or things that will help keep them safe, and that can be really dangerous.
Venture Out at Virginia Tech is an outdoor recreation program for students. They have guided hiking trips and rental equipment such as tents or sleeping bags. They also serve as a resource for students if they have any questions about outdoor activities in the area.
We'll have clinics that we'll offer at nighttime, and we also have a lot of resources here. So for example, if you were going to McAfee's Knob, we have a list of the things that you should take with you. We also have things that to keep in mind when you're going to places like that so that we're not negatively impacting those places.
Not only are students getting hurt on these hikes, but they are also impacting the wilderness. Venture Out encourages students to leave no trace. Pick up after your trash and make sure to not walk off the designated path. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Elena Jones.
That will wrap up this edition of the newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can connect also with the newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for watching. I'm Ian Gruber.
And I'm Catherine Maxwell.